The fact is that his big kill on the black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking black jobs now, and it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million people. They're taking black jobs, and they're taking Hispanic jobs, and you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history.
If you told us that the Trump campaign would continue to run with this blatantly racist and factually incorrect black jobs talking point after the reception it got from his debate with Joe Biden, we obviously wouldn't be surprised that they're using racism as a tool to gain votes, but would be surprised that they would let him do it in such a blatant and easily debunkable way. But that's the strategy you get when you're surrounded by brainwashed sycophants.
Today, our cities are flooded with illegal aliens. Americans are being squeezed out of the labor force and their jobs are taken. By the way, you know who's taking the jobs that are created? 107% of those jobs are taken by illegal aliens. And you know who's being hurt the most by millions of people pouring into our country? The black population and the Hispanic population, because they're taking the jobs from our black population, our Hispanic population.
Just weeks after the debate, he ran the same line during his RNC nomination acceptance speech, this time testing the waters by lumping in labor unions with the quote, black and Hispanic populations as targets of undocumented immigrants and migrant workers.
And they're also taking them from unions. The unions are suffering because of it.
No, unions are not suffering because of immigration. Unions are suffering because of anti-labor and anti-worker policies that are championed by Donald Trump and the Republican Party to further consolidate economic and political power to corporations and the ultra-wealthy, the true ruling class in the country. Trump's entire talking point was designed to mask the fact that while driving a wedge between socioeconomic classes that should be politically aligned and share infinitely more in common with each other than they do with the class of people our political establishment works for. It's just as frustrating to see that so many working class and impoverished Republican voters either don't realize the true motivations behind rhetoric like this or just don't care enough to look past the bigotry and think about what's actually being said.
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr.
they're taking the employment away from black people. Remember, they're taking your jobs. These people coming in are taking your jobs.
After Trump revived the black jobs talking point while speaking directly to black journalists and a predominantly black audience at the NABJ convention, the most decorated Olympic gymnast of all time and our GOAT, Simone Biles, took to Musk's misinformation platform to diss Donald Trump with a simple message: I love my black job. We previously heard Trump cop out and say that a black job is anybody who has a job. So why did he add the black qualifier in the first place? As we already discussed, Republicans want to drive division among the groups of people that pose a threat to the established power structure. However, another explanation is that Trump and his campaign are so lost in the racism sauce that they think the black community would just blindly accept this assertion as fact and wouldn't be intelligent enough to figure out the subtext of Trump's statement that immigrants who are historically willing to accept lower paying jobs and even lower wages than normal at said jobs compared to U.S. citizens are directly impacting the black community because they predominantly fulfill those jobs. While a gross stereotype on its own, the main reason why so many black Americans are forced to take lower paying jobs is our country's white supremacist foundation and decades of right-wing policies that have rigged the game against the black community, effectively erasing any fair shot at upward social mobility, barring the few exceptions as always. But don't just take our word for it.
What do you do?
Orthopedic surgeon.
Sir? What's a black job?
Black job is a contractor and a renewable energy developer.
Oh, that's what you do?
That's what I do.
That's a black job. Thank you. Hold on a second.
Sure, man.
What's a black job?
Designing products for a multi-billion-dollar bank.
Wow. Thank you, brother.
What do you do?
I'm a VP of a biotech company.
That's right. Could that be a black job, in your opinion?
It is black job.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. What's a black job?
I don't know.
Well, what do you do?
I'm the CEO of a food company.
Wow. What kind of food?
All kinds.
That's incredible. Hold on, sir. Sir, let me talk to you. What's a black job?
I don't know.
What do you do?
I'm a lawyer and I'm a real estate developer.
Hey, man, can I ask you a question? What's a black job?
Black job, I don't know, managing partner at a law firm, centuries old.
Wow. That's what you do?
That's what they say I do. That's what my paycheck says.
Excuse me, sir. Let me ask you a question. What's a black job?
Black job.
Caddying for you? What do you do, sir?
I got a black job as a CEO
Of what?
of four companies. Yeah, media companies, advertising, marketing, film. You know, that's good. That's a good black job.
Wow.
To Trump and Republicans, all the job titles you just heard would be considered white jobs. And they would like to see our country return to a place where white people would exclusively hold all of these positions because the racial disparities we're still seeing in employment and hiring practices isn't enough for them.
And of course, he spent a lot of that time simply lying. To say that NABJ was 35 minutes late to start, not only kind of play and that the equipment doesn't work, plays on this idea that, you know, the black journalists can't get it together, that black people show up late and that the stuff doesn't work. When in fact, as you pointed out, it started late because Donald Trump was resisting the idea of being fact checked. He was resisting the idea that people could actually hold him accountable for the things that he says that are not true. Because if you do that, then he has to explain how he's spreading such inaccurate information about people on the other side of the border taking black jobs or misrepresenting his contributions to HBCUs and all the other things that he says makes him the greatest president for black people since Abraham Lincoln.
Dr. Mark Lamont Hill could not have said it better. Trump's entire political house of cards is built on a perpetual state of lying, and the more his lies get picked apart, the more precarious of a position he puts himself in. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.